The controversy surrounding the budget, and the president said that the details were not sent along with the copies sent to him, and he would not really assent to this budget. My question is it really normal to have sent this budget without the details?
Well, there is actually nothing unusual about what is taking place just now. You will recall that when the budget was submitted, there was this story about budget being missing, and budget thereafter the story came again that the budget was being padded and stuff like that. Whatever happened at that point, is not different from what, have been happening in time past. But just that, because this is a transparent era where people, put the cards on the table for everybody to see, a whole lot of people get to know about every bit of thing that is happening. There was this, lot of noise about it. It's not as if it has not been happening in the past. Again, what is going on just now is also not completely new. That the highlights, have been forwarded to the president, and then you take your time to cross the T's and dot the I's to make sure that, the kind of story that happened at the beginning will not happen in this case. I think that is what is going on. Nigerians are anxious, so it's understandable why people, are getting so curious about it. The budget wasn't submitted, the proposal rather was not submitted early enough in the first place, and then because of the challenges that followed at the beginning, the passage equally took in much longer time, and because of the hardship in the economy just now, a lot of people are getting desperate to see the budget, passed into law, and then action begins very quickly. I think that is what is, making people, why people are getting agitated about the situation. It's not as if it is completely unusual.
Okay, when this budget, the details is being sent to the president for assent, maybe, for example, he didn't like most of the way the thing was put together, what do you think this will be to Nigerians? So would they take it? Wouldn't that take a longer time again?
Well, I expect that kind of situation will not arise because the parliament took, its time to thoroughly look at issues before the passage. All considerations were geared towards protecting the interests of Nigerian people. And you also know that the budget was said to be padded, which means all wasn't quite well with the document as it was. So every person would have expected that the document that will eventually come out as an act of the parliament will not be exactly the same as, the initial proposal, because definitely there was need to put things right. So I expect that Mr. President will look at it from that perspective, and give his assent, as quickly as possible, so that we can begin to see action, and Nigerians, will begin to feel the dividends of the good plan that Mr. President and his party has for Nigerian people. But in any case, if there are areas of concern, there are mechanisms in-house for addressing such issues. I don't think that there's anything that is cast, in stone in the document that is the document in question. The parliament and the executive still have the opportunity to interface and ensure that, what is delivered to Nigerian people is in the best interest of our people.
Okay, if Mr. President, at the time you submit that details, by the time you submit the details to the president and he discovers some irregularities in that budget, so does he have the power to do that correction, or he will have to refer it back to the National Assembly? What will happen then?
I don't think that there's the possibility of having irregularities in the document that was sent to him. But if there are aspects that he's not very comfortable with, I don't think the president can change anything himself, but he has the power to return it to the parliament for such corrections.
Okay, sir. Is it a normal practice in democracy that in ideal situation that you send the budget to the president without the details?
I think the ideal thing is to send it with the details when the details are available. But in the circumstance that we find ourselves, if the details are not immediately available, I think it is proper that the president be given the kind of information that he has already. I don't think that that is anything unusual.
Now, also there was this argument yesterday by the chairman of Appropriation Committee that what the executive submits to the legislature is a proposal, and it is the constitutional duty or right of the legislature to appropriate. Is what of a scenario like my colleague has asked? Mr. President feels that what he submitted was not what was approved. What happens?
Well, in time past, it has happened, and then Mr. President decided to implement whatever pleased him. We ran into crisis as a result of that. You understand me? And that is why we said, fine, we should revisit the entire process of budget making in this country. From the level of proposer, the legislative arm of government should be carried along so that we know exactly what is being proposed, and if there is need to make input at that level, we do it. And when it comes to the parliament, it will be easier to pass into law without much changes and much differences. But in a situation where that is not done, you definitely, you like you said, the parliament has the authority to make appropriation, not the executive. But they make the proposal. At the point of making proposal, the parliament is not there. And when it comes to the parliament too, the president has two special advisors on parliamentary matter. Both of them are immediate past lawmakers in the 7th Assembly. They've got a lot of colleagues in this place, and they have their principal out there. They were supposed to be the bridge between these two authorities. I thought that by now, Mr. President would have had an insight into what is happening here. And if at that point, they realized that, there were going to be some sharp, differences, then the issues would have been addressed at that level before eventual submission of the document to Mr. President. So I'm not envisaging any much differences.
Why was the National Assembly so much in a hurry to pass the budget when the details were not there?
So that they can satisfy your curiosity, Nigerian people.